All right, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, bringing you brand new interviews right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Today, Kelly Nichols returns. If you're a fan of this channel, if you've watched our videos, you know the history with LA Guns and Riley's LA Guns. We've had interviews with all the members, including Kelly. So if you want to learn about Kelly's career and about before LA Guns, you check out that interview, the link in the description. For quite some time, they've been working on a record, The Dark Horse. Tragically, Steve Riley passed away last year before the album was released. It will be released this year, very soon, on his birthday. Kelly will talk more about that. We'll find out what the future for Kelly is, what the future for Raleigh's LA Guns is, and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there can waste time with you. All right, please welcome Kelly Nichols.
Hey man, hey Jason, how's it going, buddy?
Good. It's good to see you. Uh,
Thanks.
before we get started too much, I want to point out that that theme song was inspired by the Ramones. I just want to have something to do, but also Kelly Nichols, LA Guns. I ain't got nothing better to do.
Waste some
That's where,
time, nothing better to do.
yeah, that's where that influence came from, and that's Scotty Griffin of Riley's LA Guns singing lead vocals. So
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
yeah, a little tidbit. So Kelly, it's a tough thing to have you here today because it's great that we're talking about the album coming out, but it's also very sad that Steve isn't here to see it.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, man. Where to begin with all of that? I mean, yeah, definitely a shock to the system. Um, you know, uh, was in really constant contact with him. And so I've never really lost anybody that I was kind of like always in constant contact. It's always like, you heard someone passed away and stuff, but you hadn't seen him in a year or 6 months or something. But someone that you're dealing with like almost on a daily basis, it's very weird. And I still like feel like I have questions to ask him and, like, what should we do about this or what should we do about that? So I've kind of had to like take over and a lot of help from everybody in the band and Steve's wife, Mary Louise. Uh, so yeah, this show was already booked, so that's why we decided to do it. Um, it was the last thing Steve and I were working on too, besides trying to get this album out. And so we were on the fence about doing it, but
Well, the show that you're talking about is January 20th. It's coming up. It's at the
right,
Mohican Sun in Connecticut.
right,
And the lineup is Riley's LA Guns, Vixen, Quiet Riot, and Stephen Piercy.
right,
And as you said, you had the show booked. And when I tour managed Stephen Piercy, when they were advancing the show, the people said, we've only dealt with Steve Riley, that he was the person that we were advancing with. No one knew
yeah,
necessarily who to contact in terms of putting this together. And so it shows that this was all kind of a shock. Uh, the decision to continue to do the show, I think, was a great decision. Steve was really
thanks.
passionate about this record. We'll talk about it more. But it was very important to him that I interview him about it. He wasn't feeling so great, but he wanted to do it. He wanted to do track by track talking about it.
Right.
And ultimately, yourself and everyone in the band has said he would have wanted you to continue. He would have wanted that show to go on and that record to come out. And so you're honoring his wishes and his family's wishes as well. Obviously, this is a tough decision and not one you made by yourself.
Yeah, definitely not. No, before we even like had to think about it, it took some time to even like think about the show. It was like really on the back burner. But um, as time went by a little bit, and speaking mostly with Steve's wife, she's been his wife for like 40, 50 years or something they've been together, and she knows everything that he knew. And she's like, he would have wanted you guys to do it and he'd want you to keep playing. So she's totally given us her blessing. And yeah, there he is. And, really pushed it in the decision to go ahead and do it. She was a big part of it.
Yeah, and
It seemed like, it was the last thing on my mind, really. It was like,
well,
it's just,
it's obviously a
and so,
shock. When did you find out that Steve was sick?
well, so, seeing him through these last few years, the progression. I mean, if you look even in the Dark Horse video, he looks so much better already. So that was like, a couple years ago, filming the whole process. But you could tell, like, when he's in the photo shoot, puts on his glasses and he's moving around good and he's still like healthy. So I would say within the last, 2 years, he really started to decline. But he always felt like, he could beat anything. And, he told me, he's like, I got pneumonia. I'm just going to rest and try to knock this out. And, we'll talk soon. And that was the last thing I heard from him. So that was really, a shock. And it still like hits me. It's just going to be weird to be up there. I've really never done it with a different drummer. I haven't met him. He's a friend of the band's. The other guys, Kurt and Scott's, he's a friend from Florida, and he's really great, apparently. I didn't really want like a big name person or something to come in and just kind of overshadow the whole thing. So it's like, this guy's tight. He's going to do a good job. And, but it's just like it's different because especially like the bass and drums thing is so it's tight. I mean, we smoked a joint before every gig. We were on that. We had that connection. We we'd always sneak away, man, and just get in the groove for the night, and it was so great. And just a great guy with no ego at all. Just loved what he did, and just always wanted to keep it going. And I was like, I even asked him, like, you know what, how much longer do you want to keep this going? And he was like, yeah, we're gonna do like 40 shows next year. And I mean, he did so much for the band that he's absolutely the dark horse, the unsung hero of the band. We would never have gotten anywhere near as far as we did without him.
The
He
other
really
lineup,
pushed and he kept us in line. We would have self-destructed in the first year with the way the mentality of it back in the 80s it was when you got, you get signed and you finally got signed and you got a tour bus waiting outside and you're going on your first tour and you've dreamt about it. And it's like, we all did get along at the time. So it was always, it was always good. It wasn't miserable on that tour bus by any means. We never got, not got along till this project. But so, Steve just did so much and behind the scenes that we're finding out now, like even just with this one show, like how much things like, what time sound check, how you get into the airport to the gig from the airport, like all the stuff that Steve did and, the gear and everything. So, I don't know what's next really. It's just kind of, playing it by ear. The record's coming out on the 22nd, which we wanted to do it for his birthday. I mean, we were close to that date anyway, but we just kind of like thought it would be cool. It's just kind of fun for to put it on his birthday because he wanted it out, and we're glad it's coming out. We did the best we could with it, and so we'll see what happens. I don't know.
some of the songs on this record take on a little bit of a different meaning. When you hear them now, knowing that Steve's passed, even the song "The Dark Horse," I wish it was different this time. Some
Mhm.
of I watched a little bit of the making of video that you put out, and it's a little tough now,
Yeah.
uh, obviously. Um, so, Steve had been suffering through back problems, and he just kept fighting through. And I remember when we did our first interview, Steve called me at the last second, and he said, "Listen, I really can't do it, but I want you to talk to Kelly," which was great, because I wanted to have you on for so long. And you helped him out and did a bunch of the interviews. But Steve always wanted to be involved, always was hands on. And from
Oh
what
yeah.
his dad have told me, he was always like that. A lot of people believe he didn't keep LA Guns going in those years, he was a constant for most of it, that maybe they wouldn't have kept it together because people do get crazy or get other gigs or find other ways in life where Steve really stuck to it. And he wanted to continue it, obviously. This was something that was important. I feel like the direction of Riley's LA Guns was going into more of an original band. I didn't think that in any ways you were,
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't think in any ways you were a tribute to LA Guns. Of course, the name is going to bring some people out. And of course, it's something that you and Steve were both very much associated with, wrote songs. But I felt like the direction of the shows, you guys were forming your own sound and your own show. And I felt like that was going to continue and probably outweigh LA Guns because Kurt is not a Phil clone or sound alike. And
No.
I felt like there was a spark for all of you. You had taken off some time. You were to be a parent and do your own thing,
Yeah.
and so I think the music had to be important to you to come back and do it again.
Yeah, from the beginning of the first conversations about the whole project, we never, I never wanted to just. It had to be done right, or as best as we could. I definitely, didn't want to, go up there and, make a fool of myself, and, that nobody knows the songs, and it's a disaster. No, but, like if we were going to do it, our first conversation was like 2 hours long. The first time we even talked about Riley's LA Guns was like, I told him, I told him, I knew it was Steve when it came up on my phone, and I said, I've been waiting for this call for 25 years, and he just burst out laughing, and really enjoyed the project from the beginning, and we got along great. He was just an easygoing guy, loves sports, anything from Boston. That's all he cared about. If he didn't answer the phone, it was because he's watching the game. All of that, like Die Hard, like 3 or 4 brothers that were awesome. Um, so he just stuck doing it. He just loved playing it. It was just like his whole life was just playing the drums, man, and sports.
Yeah, you hear his Boston accent. When you think
Yeah.
about Steve and you think about him calling you buds. He was a very likable guy, and as we said, a bit of a shock. I was out on the road with Stephen Piercy when I got the phone call, and you think, wow, this this record was so important to him, and you think about all these things, and then you think, well, he's not going to be here for it. And how did you find out? How do you get the call?
Well, he definitely heard the record, so at least it was in his heart with him. So I got the call from our manager like a couple days before, after.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, it's a tough subject and not something that you've really spoke about publicly, at least. But he was very private. He was private in his
Oh,
life.
absolutely. Yeah. Went to his house a few times, but not very, like I didn't talk to him for like 25 years before this Riley's LA Guns. He just wasn't like that. I was asked about him, like Mick would hear about him sometimes, and I would say, like, what's going on. But I mean, if it was important, he would call you back. If you really texted him something like, he would call you back. But this is during the off time, like we're not working. Like, but recently with this project, we've been on the show coming up. We were talking every other day. So, until he told me he got pneumonia, that was it. But
He went into the hospital with pneumonia. Was that what happened?
man, that's just what I know. You
Yeah,
know, it's what took him out.
yeah. Yeah, obviously, there's different stories, and his family hasn't really made an exact statement, which is understandable.
Very
Everyone's going.
private as well. Beautiful family. Very private as well.
Yeah,
Never
um,
burden you with anything or ask anything from you.
yeah. They kept it, a bit quiet, and this is something that nobody is prepared for. No one, especially when you're in Mary's case, Mary Louise. your husband's a public figure, people are interested, and now you've lost your partner of all those years.
Yeah,
It
devastating. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
don't know how, you just don't know what to do, you know? You just like feel like dumbstruck, like you just like hit with a club or something. It's just like, what? It's like, but you know, it's like just a hard for me. It's just a hard thing to comprehend, man. Just gone. It's like so crazy.
Well, and Steve passed October 24th, 23. So this is fresh and brand new. And you're trying to honor his legacy, honor his memory, put on a show, put out a record, and now you've lost your partner in this. So um, although I do think you're doing the right thing, as soon as I saw the show, I said they've got to do it for Steve. People want to hear those songs. There's a record that deserves to be heard that I think people will really enjoy. As you said, what comes next? Probably not. Probably too soon to say.
Yeah, no rush for anything next, really. I mean, just to get this done and get these kind of going coincide together with this last, not last show, but possibly last show. You know,
It to me it would be nice if you continued to play with those guys and made music, no matter what the name would be or what the drive would be. Do you still Are you still thinking? Is music still fun to you?
yes, the show. I enjoy the show. I enjoy, you know, the project. I enjoy doing like all the art for it. Like Steve let me do all the art for it, so it's, you know, so fun for me, and it's like kept me sane during COVID. You know, to keep like having, I had like, you know, the project to do the covers, all the ads, you know, tons of things. So that really kept me sane, and you know, he loved it, and he appreciated it, and he, you know, he was glad somebody was helping him. Like I was taking care of like this whole other side, the social media, the you know, the art and stuff, and he could handle the business. So you know, he never got much help. So, uh,
Well,
you know, it was great for me to just to be able to like a bigger part of the project than I was kind of with LA Guns. You know, I was more
it's
involved
funny.
in this project.
Yeah, it's funny as you and Steve were both not the most social, at least publicly social people. You both kept pretty quiet. You kept quiet for quite some time as well, and now you're sort of thrust out there, um, doing it. But like you said, you like the creative end of it. You are a graphic artist and have been doing that for some time. There's three covers of this record. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at these because I got them here.
All right.
Uh, And again, the Dark Horse comes out January 22nd. By the time you watch this, link in the description, you can order it. Okay, here's the first one. This is Black Vinyl.
Okay, that's black vinyl. Yeah.
And okay, and so, as we said, the record's available through Golden Robot Records. There's three different vinyl covers. We'll start with vinyl because it's also available in CD, and there's also a limited 7-inch as
Right.
well. So let's take a look at the next record. They make a great collector's item. The first record, Renegades, the vinyl sold incredibly well. People really ate up all the different versions. This is my favorite, I think.
Yeah, it was fun.
This is a red and black splatter, right?
Yes.
And this would be the Riley's LA Guns logo that you guys use. And of course, the LA Guns shield. So people remember this one. And let's
So
take a
I'll
look.
tell you about the shield though, because you know, I had a whole different concept for this thing, man. And but Steve always wanted the shield, and I wasn't really into the shield. Like again, like I kind of I could see it like as a theme, but I was like, let's do something. Let's just try something else. So I sent him like over 100 designs, and I ended up like, you know, going with the shield. So this is one of them at least. And then the red and black, that looks great, man. If it looks like that, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen one yet, but if it's anywhere near that, it's cool. And I think this is going to be the most popular. The third cover is orange, and also I think it looks really cool. Let's take a look. And yeah, and there is that.
Yeah. It's a translucent orange. It's like
You can
some
see
weird orange. Yeah. Didn't want to do the same colors as the first time, so just came up with what other stuff's available and in the budget.
So, yeah, of course. So we'll have, which, by the way, budget more than most people. Three different color vinyls, CD, 7 inch. Not every release is going to have that. Um,
Yeah, no, Golden Robot's really good for that.
they have bundle packs so that you can sort of mix and match or get everything. The 7 inch. Tell me about that.
Okay, there's like you can get those vinyls with a bundle with the 7-inch limited edition red vinyl with a new version of Ballad of Jane on it, which is an acoustic version, and the Dark Horse. It's a double A side single.
Yeah,
So, somebody came up with that. So we did Ballad of Jane acoustically, and it's not on the record. And the only way you could get it is like if you buy the vinyl, because it came out on vinyl. So we're putting it out on vinyl again, and that's the only way
yeah,
you can get it.
right.
So,
Only live on vinyl. The CD has the album tracks. Ballad of Jane, we spoke about in our first interview. A lot of people have taken credit for writing it. A lot of people have taken credit for a lot of things. A lot of people have said who it's about and who it's not about. For those who watched
a lot
the
of thieves out there,
yes,
beggars and thieves, bastards.
this music industry can be shady at times. But we've learned that the song is not necessarily about Jane Mansfield, but more about Mickey Hargitay, Jane Mansfield's widow.
Right. Yeah, it actually, yeah. From his point of view, though, it's like it's about her, but it's from his point of view. Um, that I had just seen an interview with him, and it was like 50 years later, and he was still crying, and it was just like, man, it's just like you never forget. Some things you just never forget. Some people just can't forget, and things happen. So that was the idea for it.
Yeah, and you wrote that original composition, right?
Yeah, Mick and I wrote the music, and I wrote I came up, I did the lyrics, the melody, and Phil did the last verse. And that's it.
Have you spoke to Mick since this has happened? Since we lost Steve,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
he
Shocked,
he
he was shocked.
yeah, he has a band. He plays in California,
Right.
and he may come on. He may break his silence because
Oh God,
he's another one who
don't
hasn't
listen to anything he says.
he has not looked to be in the limelight either. During the LA Guns dramas and things, he's
Mix the best.
yeah,
Yeah, we
stayed
still
out
talk.
of the likes to play music, and it's okay if he's playing locally. He's happy.
Oh, he's having a great time. He gets like, they're partying hard. They're partying hard. These little like beer halls and stuff, man. They make a night of it for sure. They come back hammered.
Yeah, it's he's sort of stayed neutral in all of this LA Guns. I did talk to Phil Lewis. I saw him recently here in Las Vegas, and he was concerned that he thought maybe his statement about Steve was too much about himself, and he thought that maybe he came off badly. He made a point that you also made that I didn't really know him, despite being in a band for so many years. I didn't go to his house. We didn't have that kind of friendship, which sometimes happens. You and Steve definitely developed a bigger friendship with this project, but it's hard to lose someone that you worked with for so years, and they ended on sort of bitter terms. I will say Steve always kept his cool, at least to my knowledge. He did
Yeah,
not want to
man,
get into.
we always took the high road, and that was tough sometimes, but that was our decision from day one. Like whatever happens here, we are not going to get involved with it, man. And I know that Steve was proud about this project, and going out with this project, he had a lot of it brought back a lot of good energy to him, and but it's tough.
I think fans relate to, and they liked that you guys took the high road. I think fans liked that you weren't you were doing your own thing and not going to get involved in mudslinging and
Yeah.
petty nonsense. I want to mention the
Here's the
show.
thing, man. Here's the thing, Jason. I never went to Phil's house either. You know, we just didn't do it. I never went to Tracy's house either, and I wouldn't have those fuckers over my house either. And that's when we
Mhm.
got along. Had a whole different set of friends. When you got off tour and out of the record, we had a whole different thing going on the side. So, you know, but we communication, but it wasn't like because we didn't want to. It just never happened. You know, I
Fans are
said
like
we all got along. You know, I would say we all got along really well back then for a long time.
Fans can be like an arranged marriage. You don't always choose who you're going to spend your time with. And like you said, you all have your own life. When you sit on a bus with somebody and planes and everything else, at some point you go home and do your own thing.
Yeah, did a million miles with Steve Riley. He was a big part of my life, man. Like all the different countries and different states and different towns and cities. Like we went through all this shit together. That's the guy I went through it with, and smoking a doob with him, like in every like weird fucking place, Spinal Tap, rat infested cellar in Argentina, and all these crazy things. You know how it is. You're out there, and you do it, and it's like you're a team, and even
I
with
don't want to put you on the spot, but is there a Steve story you can share or a memory, something that only you shared with him that reminds you of Steve that you could tell?
oh man, probably shouldn't tell this story. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but there was I can't tell this story, man.
All right. All right. Well, if you think
I'll think
it, it,
about it. I don't know.
it came to your mind instantly. That's one thing I'll say. When I thought you'd have to stop and think for a while, but
all, I got, all I gotta all I gotta say. Oh my god! All I gotta say is Amsterdam.
yeah. Well, a lot of trouble can happen in Amsterdam.
Oh my god, Amsterdam. 4 days off in Amsterdam was absolute carnage.
What year would you say that was?
Oh man, that was our European tour with Skid Row. We did like I want to say maybe 90, 91. I think we went to Europe with Skid Row for like 2 or 3 months. And that was absolutely insane too. That was a lot of fun too. Man, we could write a book, right?
Well, maybe that's something that you would do. Your life, in addition to LA Guns, could certainly be a book. Is it something you've thought about?
Be a comic book.
That might be cool too.
um, well, yeah, who doesn't think about, telling their story, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know if it'd be worth it.
I think I feel like anyone who has a story to tell, it's worth it. It's
You tell
not.
it in songs, man. I tell my story in songs.
Well, that's true too, and hopefully there'll be more of that. I'm looking at one of the promo photos. This is off the first Riley's LA Guns record, and
Right.
you get to see everybody there together in a band that Steve was proud to be part of. He told me all the time when he was looking for a singer, and I recommended Kurt. He was very happy. He would always send a text to say how happy he was doing it and that he wanted to do more. Like I said, the record took a while to come out. Back in May, I did an interview with him. It was his final interview. We talked track by track of the
Right.
album. He was so excited, but he really listen. Who knows what he was thinking? But it was important to him to get it done, and he didn't care when the record was coming out. He wanted it on record. This interview, he wanted to talk about it. He wanted to promote it, and
Right.
what did take so long with the release of the album?
Well, that is the $1 million question, man. I cannot even give you an answer. I really I can't go down that rabbit hole. But it that doesn't make any sense. Um there's no really good reason why it's taken so long to come out. Could have done another 2 or 3 records by now, you know. But just the way it went down, man, the whole I don't know. We had to like kind of like just let it be. I don't know. But we were close to we were gonna do another single and then the record, and I was like, no, man, come on, we just gotta put this fucking record out. So let's just get this thing out, man. You know, it's not cool. Sitting on this thing for too long, you start like, you know, doubting yourself and just thinking like, you know, oh no, like is this still good? Or like, but we're good. We've always felt good about it. So, you know, so happy and let's just go. Let's listen to some new music, you know, start the year off.
Yeah, January 22nd available.
It's a
Link in the
weird
description.
record, man. There's all kinds of shit on it. There's some weird shit on it. What's that? Oh yeah.
This is the 80s rock invasion. We'll get back to the record. I didn't want to cut you off, but
It's an invasion.
January 20th, for those who are watching, come out. Riley's LA Guns, Vixen, Quiet Riot, and Stephen Piercy. You've said you're going to use you're going to use a friend of the guys in the band. This is a tough thing because everybody right away said, "Well, Riley's LA Guns. Riley's obviously has passed. Who will be the drummer?" And believe
Yeah.
me, a lot of names got floated. People told me I got somebody. Everybody was ready
Yeah.
to do it, but
Yeah. I got some of those.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure you're a little harder to find, but um, the the idea, though, that not taking away from Steve, I understand. I feel like maybe sometime, and this is just me talking, that maybe you do some kind of record party somewhere, and you do another tribute. Yeah, I know you got to get through this first, but
Yeah.
maybe it would be nice to have Steve's drums set up and maybe even play a Wasp song or something in Steve's memory that I know his fans would enjoy.
Well, this talk of a tribute. This is, you know, this is just a show that was already booked. So we're not, and it's not our show. We can't really do anything, you know. There's talk of a tribute with his family and stuff. I've been like, you know, in communication with. So that's a possibility in the future. You know, probably in LA at the, you know, whiskey or something like that. So, but that takes some, you know, time to coordinate and put together. So we're just gonna let that go. But this is just, you know, we're just gonna go up there and bang, you know, some of our best songs and try to, you know, cover all the bases and go have some fun and get out of the house for a minute and, you know.
Yeah, it's not a far commute for you. You live in you're in Montauk still, right?
Yeah, I'm on the island. I drive there. Yeah, getting my Jeep out of the shop today.
Nice. When I was a kid, my father always went to Montauk to fish. I grew up in New York City,
Oh
and
yeah,
a great town and a nice place for you to live. Definitely a far cry from Hollywood.
yeah, not far enough. No, I had a
Yeah.
great time in Hollywood back in the day. But yeah, yeah, it's a cool. You know, it was that fishing town like from Jaws. It was that vibe. You know, it's changed a lot now. Yuppies, something like that.
I'm sure people, yeah, things change. But so tell me a little bit about what your life is like, Kelly. We know about what you do with Riley's LA Guns. Obviously, we know the records coming out. We know about the show. But what is a day like for you?
Um, you know, man, I kind of just run around and do things like everybody else, you know, most of the day, working on, working on the computer and stuff and designing and stuff, or, you know, visiting friends or, you know, just regular stuff, playing music, working a little bit here and there.
It's as I mentioned, you are a
It's
graphic
pretty boring.
you're a graphic artist designer, and it's funny how much of your flyers and work is out there. The M3 poster came out, and you designed that as well.
Yeah, I got that gig. I had like 2 days to do it though. They needed a whole ad campaign in 2 days. You need a YouTube header, banner, you know, Facebook banner, Instagram ad, TikTok, the website, the poster to print it. You need the brown badge. You need, you know. So I had like 2 days to do it. So I sent him a bunch of. I just like really got busy, and that was like right. like over the holidays, like right before Christmas and stuff. So man, I just banged it out. Like I sent him a bunch of different designs. I had a whole different theme going that I kind of like dug a little bit better, but they went with this other theme, and but they all loved it and stuff. So it was like a hit, and then I just banged it out in like 2 days, ready to go. So then
Yeah,
there's a
I've
couple
heard a good response to
changes.
it. And you have a style to your work, I believe. From the covers you do, there is a style to your art.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it kind of like I like where stuff looks like it's stamped or like it's um I don't know. I like to stick with three colors and
Mhm.
just use my grays and red and black and white and um yeah, I try to give the whole look of the band a theme. The whole project I think has had a theme since I've been able to do it all, it all kind of it works together. It looks like it's part of you know
I think so. I think that there's something that makes it stand out and differentiates this band. And yeah, because you've stuck with that scheme since the beginning.
Yeah, well, I mean, it took me 3 months to redo the badge, and but when I had it, and I was like, really happy the way the badge came out, and I felt that that really took us in a totally different direction from anything else that we had that look kind of. So I like that. Just I don't know. I just need a few colors. That's all.
Yeah, well, you work well
A
with them.
cool skull and a few colors. I mean, I don't know.
It's worked. It's worked for you,
The
so that's all that
motorcycle
matters.
vampire vibe.
My fear, Kelly, before we did this interview, was that you'll do this show and you'll disappear into obscurity again because people lost you for a lot of years. But we're happy to have you back. So I'm hoping that I know you got to get through this, but I'm hoping that you'll want to continue making music. That your bandmates are also on the East Coast, and maybe people will hear this record and really dig these songs. I know they liked the songs on Renegades as well, and maybe there's a market to play them. Again, I'm saying what I think fans want to hear, especially fans of this record, this band, this lineup. But
Yeah.
of course, it's a shock. These things, October was just a few months ago, and it doesn't just making these decisions. You're now making a lot of them on your own, um, and trying to do
Your
what's best.
heart's just not in it anymore, It's like it's tough to, just kind of, you know, yeah, it's got to end sometime. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
well,
it's gonna be different. So just want to get through this one, and then we'll have to see where it ends up, man. But I'm getting older anyway.
yeah, well, I wouldn't say you guys are getting that old. The Rolling Stones will be playing here very soon in their
Oh,
in their
man,
80s.
amazing.
Hmm. But
Good for them.
yeah, yeah, but which is not for everybody either. It's definitely not. You've you've done well as a private citizen. You've enjoyed a lot of your life. We've talked about raising a family, and your kids are grown up and out of the house, and so you've had some time to sort of do this again, and hopefully you'll continue. I mean, it seems like there was a passion making music again for you and being involved with this. So let's say, like you said, we'll get through this show. Anyone watching before January 20th, get your tickets. Mohegan Sun. It's an arena, a fitting place to do this. Going to be a fun show and a fun bill. And then let's get that record out. It comes out 2 days after the show.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for people to hear it. It's gonna be. I don't even know what to expect. I don't know anymore if it's it's just got some weird stuff on it, but it's like I think it sounds great and it should be fun, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I heard it back in May, but I would say that that fans of the first record will enjoy it, and fans of LA Guns will enjoy it. Of course, there'll be a curiosity to hear Steve's final recording. I'm hoping that that curiosity leads to people, getting into the band and maybe getting into the other record if they didn't know it, and then whatever should happen next. The links are in the description, so you can pick this up. But Steve would have wanted people to hear this music. I've said it many times. It was very
Amen.
important to him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so people check it out. The one thing I say about music in this day and age, sure, the artist might not get paid, but it's there. Music's easy. There's no excuse. You can hit it with a click of a button. You can hear this album.
It's not for the money, trust me.
Yeah, you got to be in it because you believe it. But anyway, check out the link in the description. Kelly, I appreciate you doing this. I know it's not an easy thing. I wanted to give you some space because you have a million things to do and a million phone calls. And this is not the way people want to promote a record because it's so difficult and still so fresh.
Yeah, the whole thing is, life throws things in your way, and you just got to kind of figure it out and deal with it. It's all you can do.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you next week. It'll be an emotional show just as a fan watching. I know for you guys on stage, it will be. It's going to be tough. You're on stage. You and Steve really locked in. Any show you watch, the two of you were always together on that stage.
Oh, it made it so easy, to play with, and we knew when to look at each other, like the certain things you got to hit, and no, it was great. It was great. It's a great guy to play with, solid, and just a fun guy to hang with, fun guy to play with, So, like I said, man, no ego, like zero. Just was always nice to everybody, and just enjoyed his life. He had a great. His wife says he had a great life. He enjoyed what he did, and he loved being able to do it for so long. And he was our Mick Mars. He was a few years older than us, and he kept us in line, man. Or else we would have self-destructed, no doubt. But we kind of had to make sure you're going to be there the next day, and it was like he made it like a serious. Okay, this is we got to do this. So we always live was our thing. We always were tight live. We partied and stuff, but you had whatever you did, you had to be on point for the live show. You had to time your buzz. You had to craft your buzzes around the live shows, and we became masters of it. But
Yeah,
no,
I think you definitely mastered it.
he just kept us in line. We just knew we had to kind of.
I think you got Christmas music playing in your house, Kelly.
I do, and this clock plays here, and it has no batteries in it.
It's every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Do you think maybe Steve is looking down on us just got chatting?
It's possible, man. It's possible.
You never know. The earth has strange ways of telling us things.
Dude, let me tell you a quick story. The other day, I was going to where I live. Our garbage cans are dumpsters, right? It's like in the dumpster. I lift up the thing and I throw my stuff in there, and I see all kinds of shit in here, man. But there was an Alf doll.
Wow, that's a good
In the
find.
bottom of this dumpster. But it was like a recycled dumpster. There was no food and stuff, but I had to get them.
Mm-hmm.
I got them.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it. He had some cables on top of them and some tools. And I got him, put him in the wash, but he's mint.
Yeah, original Alf dolls, a collector's item. Only in Montauk do you find Alf dolls in the dumpsters, though. You know what I mean? You're in a nice area. Out here, it wouldn't be,
Yeah.
Would be a much more low rent character.
It'd be like a beat up Ted.
Probably, yeah.
No, this thing was mint. It's unbelievable. Like the odds of finding an Alf. in in the dumpster. But that just happened the other day. So anyway, we're all good, right? So we're
Yeah.
gonna keep it going, man. Just go have some fun, enjoy. Thanks everybody. Hope you love the record. We tried our best. It was within the budget, and we'll be missing Steve, and he'll be in our thoughts there. And we just get through this one, and then we'll see where it goes. We'll see where the road takes us, Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, this is fresh. Could be the end of a chapter, could be a new chapter. We don't know. January 22nd, the Dark Horse. Riley's LA Guns available
Thank
everywhere.
you.
Link in the description. If you're going to be in the Connecticut area, January 20th, come out and see the guys at the Mohegan Sun. And as Kelly said, you follow them on social media because maybe they'll make a formal sort of West Coast tribute to Steve. All these things are down the road. So follow Riley's LA Guns on all the socials. Thank you so much, Kelly.
All right, Jason. Thanks, man, brother. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.
You too. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you. Make sure you subscribe, check out the links, and we'll see you again.